This is outdated, and welcome to my Pandemic 2020 series where I'm going to walk through Dark Souls Remastered. So I'm going to try to make this as painless as possible, give you some tips on how to get through the game, that sort of thing. So I'm going to do like little chunks at a time. I'm not going to like completely inundate with episodes. I'll probably do an episode of this walkthrough about once a week. I will also do an episode of a Bioshock walkthrough once a week. I will also do basically a show where I just film some of whatever I'm playing at that time, whatever I'm working through. Like right now, if I were not doing this, I'd probably be playing Control, maybe some multiplayer or co-op on Gears 5, something like that. There's several other things I could be doing that are more old school. But for now, I'm going to focus on one of the greatest games ever, something that literally created its own genre, Dark Souls. So we're going to start from scratch, and I'm going to give you some pointers because these games are considered brutally and notoriously difficult. They're really not difficult, honestly. They're strict. They're very, they punish mistakes. But if something happens to you, it's still a mistake you made. And that's the thing you have to remember. Once you learn how to play it, it's much, much better. So this is not meant to be a complete walkthrough. It's just going to be a way that you can get through the game. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to sign in. Alright, it seemed to have some issues last time. I've tried to make some videos of this stuff. Okay, I'm going to start a whole new game. And I'm going to make a character. So first it wants a name. And I am going to name my character Darius. Now, if any of the members of my D&D group from back in the day were watching this, gonna be male, they will, when this walkthrough is over, totally get the reference. So I've got some class choices here, and you'll see the list of classes in the middle. Over here on the right, you can see them moving. This is what you'll look like when you start, because it gives you some gear. And then on the left, you'll see the statistics that they have. So we've got the Warrior, which seems to focus on strength, dexterity, with a nice balance, good endurance, pretty decent vitality and resistance. The Knight, really good vitality. Strength and dexterity aren't as good, they're lower. The Wanderer, oh wait, I didn't show you the Knight. The Knight, pretty nice set of armor, gotta say. I really like the look of the Wanderer, and they're more dex-based. This game allows you to do different builds, so you can like make your character play in different ways based on the weapons they use. It's just amazingly good at giving you options and choices. Here's the Thief. On my PS4 playthrough that I'm doing, I'm actually started with a Thief. The thing is, the Thief, it does not hold you, the class I mean, it does not like lock you in. You can do whatever you want with this character. I can pick a warrior and then start casting spells. I just have to level up those stats as I level up and become capable of doing so. You have complete freedom. All this is basically setting your starting equipment and what your initial skill set's like. So if you know what you want to build, if you know what you're trying to build up to, then you pick the one that's probably a little closest. Here's the Bandit. So apparently somebody never heard of a shirt, but nice axe though, and that shield. That's actually a shield you can find that's resistant to poison. Great strength, dexterity kind of sucks. Really good endurance. The Hunter. So they probably would be a really good thing. Sorry about that. Really good thing to use a bow. They have really good dexterity. Their strength is good. Resistance, endurance, vitality are all pretty decent. Sorcerer. So you can see they're starting with a dagger. They have a high attunement. That allows you to cast more spells. That's how many spells you can know. And intelligence, which is basically for sorcerer spells or sorceries. Pyromancer. They cast fireball type spells. He's got an axe and a busted shield. You can tell that his gear is not the nicest. Their focus is pretty spread. They have attunement pretty good, strength's good, resistance is good, not bad vitality, pretty decent endurance, not bad intelligence. Pyromancies are a different type of spell. They do not require a specific stat to use. You just use them. They level up very differently. They're not based on specific statistics. Then you have the cleric. So they use faith-based spells. So you're going to see their faith, 14, that's really high. They have a good strength, strong vitality, attunement, and resistance. But their intelligence kind of stinks. Their dexterity kind of stinks. Endurance, and then last, the deprived. They're 11s across the board. They are a blank slate, so blank they have no clothes on. Matter of fact, that's his butt. So because I already kind of know the build I want to do, I'm going to use the warrior. The reason I'm using the warrior is it gives me a 13 on strength and a 13 on dexterity. So that allows me to build those up a little quicker, because that's what I'm going to focus on, because there's a specific weapon I already know I want to use. So I'm choosing the warrior. Okay. Now, here's the gift. Okay, some of the, I'm just going to be honest. Some of these Goddess's Blessing, I'm not picking that, because I'll use it if I get in trouble, and then it's gone, I'll never get it again. Black Fire Bombs, that's actually interesting. There's something you can do with those in the tutorial area to get a really amazing strength weapon, or not amazing, but for the early game it's amazing, strength weapon, and the Black Fire Bombs are, one of the easiest ways to do that. But I'm not going to do that, because I want to do something that anybody, they can get the most benefit out of. Twin Humanities, again, it's a consumable. You can pick up humanity and farm it. We'll get into that later. I want to worry about that. The binoculars, no, you can find those pretty easy. The pendant, no. The Master Key, that's what we're going to pick, and I'll get into that in a second. Tiny Being's Ring, it grants a small increase in hit points. I'm not even going to worry about it. Honestly, I can pick up that Tiny Being's Ring later anyway. The Old Witch's Ring, it's actually really good a little later in the game, but still in the early game, because there's a character that you can't talk to unless you're wearing the Old Witch's Ring, and then you can actually understand what they're saying. But in the end, you can still navigate their stuff. There's some Easter eggs and stuff you can get out of it, but I feel like the Master Key is the best starting item, and I'll explain as we go, but we are going to take the Master Key. Alright, physique. It doesn't really matter that much, but based on the character that I named this after, which is a character one of my players used, I'm going to make him have a larger upper body, like he's broad-chested, but the rest of him is pretty normal. We'll go with that. Alright, face. I'm going to go with a Delta Farmer. I mean, when I think about that character, I don't picture that or that. Well, that looks like Elric of Melniboné there or whatever. I don't picture these. Definitely not Smiley here. I mean, why are you smiling, man? This is Dark Souls. There's nothing happy about this. No, there's Elric of Melniboné, but we're not doing that. No, I mean, when I look at these skin tones and facial expressions, that's the one that I think would work the best. So I'm going to go with the Delta Farmer. Hair. I'm going with the ponytail. And then the hair color, I'm going to go with a light brown. Okay, and now I'm going to accept the character, and we're going to get into the opening cinematic, which is just awesome. And it sets up the backstory of the world, at least on a basic level. So here we go. Starting with this character.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead.
He's pleasant.
The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons.
These dragons are just looking for
Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone scales. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the Scaleless, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Okay, that's basically the intro to the world. There's a lot more to it, though. Now we're getting the intro to me. Sort of.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
Excuse me. And that's me.
This is your fate.
Mildly depressing. And here is where I begin. So right now, you're going to see, first off, let's take a look at my face. It's all red and crusty. You saw that in the opening thing. It's because I am dead. I am an undead. In my hand, I have a broken sword. You know, not exactly a great weapon. So one thing, I'm going to start at the beginning here. One of the first things I think Dark Souls did brilliantly as a series, and it actually started with, I would argue, the game before this, Demon's Souls, but it was harder to get to, and I'll explain what just popped up under my feet in a minute, is every item you can pick up in the world looks like that white smoky thing. so you don't know what it is until you get it. So when you see it somewhere difficult to get, you just want so bad to go get it to see what it is. Hopefully it's some new weapon you can use, but it might just be a piece of junk you don't need. I'm going to pick this up, and there's the dungeon cell key. Alright, now, since I'm playing online, these lines here with the writing in them, these are messages. Some of these are left by players, including yourself. You can leave messages for other players in their worlds. Oh, roaches. Can I step on them? Nope. So this one, hollow. Alright, that's a player left that. This one's the one I think that was left by admin. Or no, that was a player too. Sorrow. Okay, so I'm going to use the key to open this. Alright, I'm going to walk through here. See one locked in there. Can't open that. Here's a message. Camera controls with the right stick. And so I'm using the right stick to move around. You know, standard third-person action game. There's a dude in there too. All like miserable. Here's one. Attack is a right bumper. So that is your light attack. So first off, it doesn't show us yet, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to click the right stick. And now I've locked onto that enemy. And so I'm going to use the right bumper and attack him. Notice as I swung, at the top left of the screen, there was a green bar, and that bar got lowered. Let me show you again. Lowered, 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 lowered. That is my endurance, or stamina. When that runs out, I can't do anything. So the combat is stamina based. You can't just button mash or click, and in case of say a Diablo, you can't do that. You have to be very tactical and strategic. This, I'm assuming you can see it walking around in there, that is the shape of things to come. Alright, you just saw something zip by me. Save that for later. Okay, let's see. Strong attack is right trigger. So right bumper, or R1 if you're on PS4 or their style controller, is light attack. Right trigger, or R2 on a PS4 style controller, is heavy attack. As you'll see when I do this. I just did it once and now I'm just going to hit it the other way. Get rid of it. Heavy attacks do more damage, but they also eat up more of your stamina. Okay, read message. So I need to hold the left stick and hold down B to dashing, but it also eats up stamina. So we're going to go through here. New message. Alright, hold down right stick to lock on, but I already told you that. So I'm going to go ahead and do it and take care of this guy. He doesn't actually do anything. So these are all just crash test dummies at the moment. So we can learn how to play. I'm going to come into here. This is it looks like the bottom of a well, but we have a ladder. I have to hit A to climb up, and here we go. Okay. We're going to go through here. Message, rest at bonfires, recover HP. So this is the icon of the series, the bonfire. I'm going to light it. And I'm going to rest at it. When you rest at a bonfire, all of your health is restored, all your spell uses are restored. I mean, like everything, you get it back, but every enemy in the game, with a couple of exceptions, bosses and mini-bosses, but every other enemy in the game, every, dude you had to get through to get where you're going, they all respawn too. They all come back. So, definitely need to be aware of that. That is a really big deal. So, let's go ahead and leave. Now, there's these huge doors up here. That's where we actually have to go. But I want to let you notice over here, there's this little gate. It doesn't open from this side. So we can't get to it now. Just checking to make sure there's nothing else, but there shouldn't be. We're going to go ahead and go in here. Okay. Huge room. Door at the end. That's where we are supposed to go. But something's going to block our way, and I'm going to show you how not to deal with this thing right now. But here's how you can tell. You see these? These are blood stains. When I touch them, that's where another player played and died. That's them, and you're going to see how they died. They were trying to heal just then, and then they died. I'm not going to keep looking at them. I'm just going to walk forward and let you see what happens. But you can see over here to the left, there's a doorway. That's our way out if we can use it. But for now, let's see what happens. Crap, first boss of the game, and we're running. And we're out. Okay, now you can stay and fight him and probably die, because you have a weapon that will hardly do any damage. We're going to move forward, and I'm going to show you how to get through this the quickest and easiest way possible. There is a way, using the black fire bombs I mentioned earlier, to take him out. We're going to get to take him out anyway. You do get a reward for taking him out without going through that door, but if you play a New Game Plus run, you'll get it anyway. Alright, here's a guy. Oh, I was shooting. I'm going to duck in here. So he's shooting arrows. I'm going to pick this up. It's a heater shield. Because I'm a knight, I can use a shield. So I have to open the menu. Here's the problem with the menus in Dark Souls. The game is not paused. They can still hurt. So let me show you. Read message. The start button or whatever it's labeled on your controller opens the menu, and then I armed the shield. Left bumper or L1 blocks. Now that's what I'm doing now. But whenever you block something, you take stamina damage, and if you are out of stamina, then they'll stun lock you. I can also do this. That's if I want to parry. Parrying is a little trickier. We'll mess with that later. For now, easy way to get to the archer. Notice the stamina goes down just a little bit. Why isn't he running? Normally he runs. Alright. This is what you want. Just do this. Backstab. If you can get behind them, you can backstab them, but I don't have a real weapon to deal with here. I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. Normally he would have run. I'm actually surprised this is how I'm having to do this. So you'll notice the walls will stop you from swinging. So you gotta like watch your terrain. Is he finally running? No. Dang it. Stupid wall. Got him. See, normally he would have run away, and I would have had to chase him, but that would get me up here to this item, which is what I really wanted, the longsword. Now, these items will be different on your playthrough depending on the class you chose, but I'm going to switch out to the longsword real quick. So a much better weapon. The key in a game like Dark Souls is you need to know what your weapons are capable of and what stats their damage scales with. So your stats actually determine the damage of your weapons. Some weapons are more based on dexterity, so you do more damage the higher your dex is. Some are based on strength, some are based on both, and they're to varying degrees. Some are even based on things like intelligence and faith. So the move set, the quick attack, oops, dang it, just a horizontal slash, but it's a really good move set. The heavy attack, thrust, also a good move. Now I can hit Y to go two-handed, which means I'll do more damage, but now I'm not protected. But doing a quick attack here, it's like a diagonal chop. It's pretty cool. And the heavy is a huge slash. I honestly spend most of my time with the shield, but it depends on the weapon I'm using and what I'm doing, but I am not a big two-handed fighter. That's probably a player message, and it's probably perverted, so I'm going to leave that alone because I don't know who's watching this. So we're going to head up here. Okay, fog walls. These cut off areas of the game, and you just walk through them to load those areas. Basically, they're like an elevator ride at any game. It's a loading screen. You just don't realize it's a loading screen. While you're sitting in the elevator and your characters are doing random banter about, you know, how their butt itches or whatever, it's actually loading the next section of the game. And here, it's the fog wall. And once you go through the fog wall, now it's had the time before I got here to load in the next section, which isn't really that big anyway. But I'm going to go ahead and walk through here. Okay, now first off, I can see, looks like a dude in armor in there. We're going to do that in a minute. Okay, back step. We're not going to even... Alright, we're going to check over here just so you can see. Alright, I cannot get up those stairs, but there's a treasure there. And now I want that treasure. And if you go down here, you're going to find... Yep, nothing. So we're going to head back this way. Now, if this is giving you trouble, which at this early stage in the game, you know, after you've played a couple times, it probably won't. But if it's giving you trouble, you can go up or down here. We're going to go down first. Why? We're going to open this gate, which brings us back to this bonfire. And right inside that door is that boss again, if you recall. So I'm going to rest at the bonfire. We're going to leave. We are not ready to fight him yet, even with this sword. We're not. We need something else, and we need a little bit of plot development. So we're going to go back over here. Now you saw there was that knight past that gate, but that gate which was right here. So how do we get to him? Pay very close attention. We're going to try to go up the stairs, but something's going to happen. That. Dodge. And the ball breaks open the wall, and we're going to go in. And here he is. Let's have a conversation. Even in conversations, you can get attacked, though. But we should be safe in here.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Okay, yes, I will hear you out.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the Undead Asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
Arguably the most important item in the game, because this is how you heal.
Oh, and this.
Undead Asylum, Floor 2, East Key. Also very
now
important.
I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
We're going to head over here, but as we look back, this is the guy that dropped the corpse in our cell that gave us the key. He knew we might be able to stop this. Anybody ever see it? Listen. Did you hear it? He just died. And now he's gone. Thank you, friend. Now, that boulder that rolled down, it rolled down because somebody rolled it, and there he is. So I'm going to show you, first off, I'm going to hold the shield and block. You see it ate my stamina, but I was able to block his attack. Some things are too, like the stronger they are, the higher your stability, your shield has to be to do it. Now I'm going to try to get him to come down here because I want to show you how to parry. Parry is really awesome and a really helpful tool. You have to time it just right. Alright, and that was not how you time it. So I'm just going to kill him. Because I'm going to have to get my practice up on parrying, honestly. So we're going to head up here. That key he gave us unlocks this gate, which is how we progress. And we've got some messages. Wield right weapon two-handed by hitting Y. So hitting Y, we do that, but I'm not going to actually do that. Alright, moving left with right bumper is a kick. Moving the left stick with right trigger is a jump attack. So, right, I have to be actually running. But now here, resting at bonfires revives enemies. So, and I mentioned that earlier. So when we go around this corner, we're going to have 2 of those hollows with weapons, and we're going to have another one with a bow. Rule number 1 of Dark Souls. Well, okay, we're going to go with it. Rule number 1 of Dark Souls. Don't get outnumbered. Try to pick them off one at a time. Even the weakest thing, no matter how tough you are, can really ruin your day. And every use of Estus Flask matters. So here they come. I came out here to lure him. Now I'm going to let him come this way, and I'm going to stab, because this thing has some reach. Here's the other one. Stab. Because the longsword has some decent reach. Now I can just go up to the bow guy. So I'm going to use my shield to defend, and see ya. Wouldn't want to be it. Okay. Now we're going to go in here. Behind an enemy is a critical hit, so we're going to show you how to backstab. So he's tough with his shield, at least at this stage. I'm going to try to work my way behind him. Alright, I messed that up. Alright, come on. Got him. Backstab. The backstab does a lot more damage, and that took him out. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use I'm going to come up here. There's a fog wall. We're going to go into the boss room, and we're going to be above him. I'm going to switch to 2-handed. I'm going to hit X to drink my Estus Flask, top off my health. And we're going to go ahead and take this guy down. So here's what you do. You walk in, walk onto him from above, drop, hit RB. And look at that health jump we just took off. Now, I am going to switch back to my shield, and I'm going to go behind him. And I'm going to, get knocked across the screen. But I'm going to wail on that rear end. Oh man, the timing is totally off. Alright, get back off. Need to heal. Alright, I'm going to run to get behind him. The best advantage here is to get behind him. Alright, the shield protected me from most of that damage. The heater shield does have... That was a good dodge. Alright, I don't actually want to fight him face to face. It's a bad idea. I want to get behind him. Alright, he's 1 airborne, back off. I'm going to do a butt now. Now we get in and hit him a couple times. Rule number 2 of Dark Souls, very important. Do not get greedy. Hit a couple times, back out. Hit a couple times, back out. When we took him down, this is our first boss. He's the tutorial boss. We got the big Pilgrim's Key. That'll actually open the exit doors. We also picked up 1 humanity. But do you hear that? The footsteps. That demon we saw earlier, he's still down somewhere nearby. But we cannot fight him now. We're going to go back here. I don't really have to, but I'm going to rest at this bonfire anyway, so I can get my health back. And also refills my Estus. Alright, now let's go. I'm running because there's nothing else to fight. We're going to open this up. Remember, this has been the tutorial. Dark Souls is famous for not really telling you much. What I'm going to do is look around at various places, see if I can see any treasures hidden before we go. Be careful, you don't want. So I said rule number 2 was don't be greedy. You could argue that that's rule number 1, debatably. But don't be greedy. Another one. Your biggest enemy is not actually anything you fight. Your biggest enemy is gravity. Because if I fall off this, I'm dead and that's it. And death really sucks in this game. Because the bottom right corner, you can see a number, 2,340. That's how many souls I have right now. Souls are your currency. You use it to buy things. It also is what you use. It's like experience points. You use it to level up your character to get more powerful. When you die, you lose them all. Now, they'll be left on the ground somewhere. And you could potentially find them. I feel like there's a treasure here I'm missing. I'm almost positive there's a treasure here I'm missing. Where is it? It's not over here. I thought it was... Is it around here? No. I could have swore there was another treasure sitting here somewhere. Wait, let's check up here. The gravity is like the biggest pain in the rear end. Oh, wait. Maybe down here? Hiding? Down. Yeah, ha, there it is. I knew it. The soul of a lost undead. So, I told you those souls are your currency. They're also your XP. When you die, you lose them all. So when you're at a bonfire, and if you have enough to spend it on something useful, like leveling up, repairing your gear, whatever, you probably should spend them. Because once they're spent, and you've used them. But if you're carrying them, they're gone when you die. But they're left on the ground at the spot of your death. And you'll respawn back at the last bonfire you rested at. The problem is, when you do that, all the other monsters, as I said before, unless they're mini-bosses or actual bosses, they respawn too. So, you have to fight your way all the way back through them again to get to that puddle of souls and pick it up. And if you do, you get all your souls back. Here's the problem. If you die on the way, those souls are gone forever. And a new puddle is made with what you're carrying then, which will probably be less if you went straight towards them. So, you definitely want to keep up with that. Checking to make sure there's no other treasure. Whoa, too close. We're about to advance the plot forward. So here we go. Nearing the end of the episode.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the Undead Asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
And this is Lordran. And the big difference that we're going to see is the Undead Asylum kind of stands on its own. It's the tutorial area, but this is all interconnected. It's a massive open world maze-like structure that we'll start exploring next episode. But we're at the most iconic spot in the game, arguably. In Lordran, level up and kindle at bonfires. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, go off the screen. There we go. There we go. I'm going to rest at this bonfire. And now we do have the ability right now to level up. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now let's see. Yeah, so right now I have 2,340 souls. I need 724 to level up. But every time I level up, the amount I need to level up again increases. You'll see all my stats on the right. Like these are on the left, and the big block are my regular stats. But the things that really matter, honestly, are on the right and in the middle. Especially in the middle. That's where your hit points, stamina, equipment load, what your damage is with your different weapons, all that. So, like right now, if I were to put a point into strength, my damage with my right hand weapon, the longsword, will go up by 2. My left hand weapon, the shield, if I used it to actually do damage, would go up by 1. It would up all my defenses by 1 point across the board all the way down. If I up my dexterity by 1, I get 2 points on my right weapon, and all my defenses go up by 1 again. But there's other things I can do. I can up my vitality. My hit points go up by 22, and all my defenses go up. I can up attunement. All it does is my defenses, because it's not enough to get an attunement slot, because my class is not designed for spells. But if you want to go that way, that's fine. My endurance ups my stamina by 2, and you saw that that stamina bar really matters. So upping stamina is not a bad idea. And also my equipment load will go up by 1. That's 1 more pound I can carry where I can still roll, and then we'll get into that later. I can up my resistance, which ups my resistance is considerably more than 1 point each, and my poison resist specifically goes up by 6. I can up my intelligence, which right now doesn't really help me at all because I'm not a class that uses that much, or faith, either one. So what I'm going to do, I already know the weapon I want to use. I want to try to get my stats close to being able to use it, so I'm going to up my strength and dex each by 1. I'm going to try to keep these balanced, at least at first, because I know I'm trying to build up to use a specific weapon. Now, I think the next thing I'm going to do is actually, I've got enough to level up one more time. I could just move my vitality up to 12, because the next ones for me are going to be vitality and endurance. These 4, vitality, endurance, strength, and dex, I'm going to move up pretty consistently. So if I do this, I'll have 14 strength, 14 dex, 12 vitality, 12 endurance, and that's what I'm going to do. So, except, and sorry, my little dog is a pain. So I've now leveled up. So I'm going to back out of this, I'm going to leave the bonfire. And this is where we're going to end our episode. I would like to thank you for watching. This has been Outdated, and I hope that you will come and join us for the next episode, where we will explore Firelink Shrine. So, farewell. Peace.